Hey guys, welcome into Faith in Football. My name is Neil and I will be your host today. What a crazy, wonderful weekend it has been for this first week of the fantasy football season, the NFL season as well. A lot of stuff to get to, but first, as the name says, faith always comes first. Remember, guys, put it in perspective. So today's verse, we're going from 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 32. Now, for some of you, this might seem like a very familiar story. A lot of us have always heard the story of David and Goliath, and we look at it as an underdog. It's the little guy versus the big guy. It's a perfect, sports metaphor, if you will, when you have that underdog, when you have that person, that team that nobody thought was going to knock off the big guy, and they come through and just have this otherworldly victory over adversity. But I want to look at it a little different today. See, this really wasn't about, some guy who didn't have a shot making it big and just getting lucky. This is a story about a guy who had faith beyond measure, who didn't compare himself or his adversary to himself, but yet he turned that around. And if you look at it, verse 32, chapter 17, it says, David, put a little context to it. Goliath was the Philistine champion. He came down from the camp. The Philistines were camped across from the Israelites, and he would come down every single day, twice a day, for 40 days. Imagine somebody talking trash to you twice a day for 40 days, every single day. That would get on my nerves. I don't care how big the dude was. I'd say something eventually. But this guy was like 9 feet tall. His body armor weighed 125 pounds. And look, there are some of you out there watching who somebody or you yourself weigh 125 pounds. He had a person on him. That's how big this dude was. But David didn't worry about that. David comes down to bring his brother some food. And while he's chilling there talking to him, Goliath comes out and gives his usual taunt. And David's like, who's this guy? Why haven't y'all taken care of this? Like, this should be an issue. And they tell him what's going on. And he's like, who is this uncircumcised Philistine? This, he's defying God. Like, who is he? Right there in that moment, David's not comparing himself to Goliath. He's comparing Goliath to God. He's looking at his mountain, and instead of looking at his mountain going, man, that's a big mountain, he looks at that mountain and goes, hey, I got a big God. A little different there, isn't it? Then that hits just a little different this time around. I listened to a guy named Tim Ross, and if you haven't heard of him, please go find him on YouTube. I'm going to put a hashtag down bottom. I hope you guys, follow it out. But Tim Ross has an amazing view of this story, and he talks about having a growth spurt, and that David had a growth spurt where he got a little taller spiritually, and David looked at him and he said, I ain't worried about him. In verse 32, it says, David says this, don't worry about this Philistine. David told Saul, and Saul was the king, I'll go fight him. What? You're a shepherd boy. You take care of sheep and stuff. And David's like, yeah, and what's your point? And he goes in to tell him everything. I encourage you, go read the story, and I want you to read it with a little different thought process this time, okay? So go to chapter 17 of 1 Samuel, and I want you to read the story of David with a little different thought in your head, that this ain't got nothing to do with big versus small. This doesn't have anything to do with mighty versus weak. This isn't some kid who got lucky. This is a man who had faith beyond measure. How many of us wish that we could have even a fraction of the faith that David showed in this chapter? Now, David wasn't a perfect man. You'll see that a little later on if you read. He had faults. He fell down. He backslid. He did things he wasn't supposed to do, just like we all do. But he never lost his faith. He always came back to God. And that's what some of us need to do, myself included. You know, we just got over the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And when those men and women were running to the danger, they were running to their Goliath. They were the David running with faith that they had a job to do. They had a responsibility. They had a drive. They had a determination to go do what needed to be done. So I hope as you watch this video that as you move forward in your day, and whether you're watching this at night or in the morning or in the afternoon, I hope that you carry with you the fact that we all need that faith, and we all need to look at things a little bit differently. We need to start looking at our problems as they're not our problems, they're God's problems. And God doesn't have any problem that he can't fix or he doesn't know about. He's got the answer. We don't. So, you know, we live in a world where everything gets compared. You know, that guy's got a better house, or that guy's got a better job, or he's got more money, or, you know, whatever. As believers, there's nobody that has a bigger house or a better future or more riches than us. If you are a believer, it might not be of this world yet. You might get rewarded here a little bit, but you will be rewarded greatly when we get to our forever home with God. So I hope that helped you guys. I hope it inspired you. I hope it made you look at it a little different. And maybe the next time you run into an issue in your life, you'll think about David and Goliath, and you'll remember that it's not some big versus small. It's God versus your issue. You don't have to do it alone. So down the bottom, subscribe, like, and share, and let me walk with you. If you got any issues down the bottom, hit me up. I would be more than happy to discuss them with you. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, Football 1. So hit me up there, and let's get into a jam-packed weekend. A lot of stuff that happened. And I got a new name for my Tuesday episode and my Thursday episode. Starting this week, we will have Take a Step Back Tuesday. And on Thursday, we will have Throttle Up Thursday. See, everybody does an overreaction Monday. And even though I'm recording this in the middle of at the end of the Monday night game to get this out to you guys early Tuesday morning, I'm not doing an overreaction Monday. This is going to be more of a, let's take a step back. Let's look at what happened this weekend and who disappointed us and who surprised us. So I'm going to give you guys 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers on both sides of that, 2 quarterbacks, 2 tight ends on both sides of the argument. Okay, so you're going to get 4 total on both sides of this. And there's some guys out there that you're just like, man, he did horrible. I can't believe he did that bad. I had a little question about him when I drafted him. Dang, I can't believe this is happening. And you want to overreact, and you want to jump to conclusion. You want to think that You need to flush this guy, and you need to put him on the trading block and get whatever you can for him right now. Hold up. Wait a minute. Time out. I want you guys to take a break. And I want you to remember what I talked about during the draft season. During the draft, I was talking about environmental drafting, looking at the environment around the player to determine whether or not you drafted them. Nothing's changed, guys. Now we're talking environmental roster management. What is that? That's when you look at the environment around the player, whether they did good or bad, and evaluate, honestly, what was it that made them perform either way above expectation or disappoint you way below expectation. So we're going to dive in to the quarterbacks, and look, there is no other quarterback that disappointed more this weekend than Aaron Rodgers. I know. I couldn't believe it myself. We're going to take a look at my draft, or my league of record, and the listener league I have with 103.7 The Game and Clint Domain. Clint, what's happening, my man? Told you I was coming back. The champ is returned. Yes, I am the defending champ of that league, and the second place in my own league. I know it's crazy, but the wife beat me 2 years in a row, and you will see her team in just a second. But listen, Aaron Rodgers, I want you to pump your brakes on this. Don't panic. Look, they were facing the Saints. I know everybody was thinking, oh, Saints ain't all that. They're, don't worry about it. No problem. Here's the thing. Look at the history of Aaron Rodgers. Enough said on that one. Okay. Week 2, he gets the Lions. I don't care if it's in Detroit or if it's in Green Bay or if it's back in Jacksonville. I don't care. This is Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Now, if this persists, then you have to start asking questions. If they get against Detroit and he struggles, or he looks like he did in the Saints game, then we have room to talk, okay? But as of right now, don't panic. And I want you to look at the upcoming environment for Aaron Rodgers. Look at the division he's in. He gets Detroit twice a year. He gets Minnesota twice a year, and he gets Chicago twice a year. Come on. Chicago's Minnesota's not that good, and Detroit's just plain sorry as all get out, okay? They just are. Their defense is horrible. Their offense, while they might be able to put up a few points here and there, they're not all that. So there's no cause for panic. Is there room for disappointment? Of course, you wish that you were betting on Aaron Rodgers to do more, and his disappointment spread throughout the team, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But we're also going to talk about Josh Allen. And look, I'm not going through every single high-profile player, but when I tell you that he disappointed me, and I'm going to show you here right now what I'm talking about. So here is my league of record on the sleeper app. And if you guys thought I was just joking about the sleeper app during draft season, I use it here as well. This is where my league of record is. This is what we use. So here we go. 110 to 122. I lost to Mr. Dusty, who is my sponsor. And no, this is not me trying to give him, a mercy win. I legit wanted to beat the tar out of him. First game, and I was projected to do a lot better than this, but things happen, and we're going to look right now at what exactly happened. Josh Allen, 17.2 points, 51 attempts, 30 completions for 270 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 carries for 44 yards, and a fumble. Even without that fumble, he still doesn't crack the 19-point mark. That's horrible. Okay, guys. For Josh Allen, the expectation is much higher. You're expecting a 25-point performance at minimum from him. You're expecting at least 2 touchdowns, possibly even 1 on the ground, a lot more rushing yardage. And with those kind of attempts, look, 30 completions and 270 yards, that's not even 10 yards of completion, okay? He should have had a 300-yard day. He should have had another touchdown in there, but it was just horrible. Now, it was against Pittsburgh, so you have to take some kind of consideration about that into your disappointment. So the same way that you don't need to panic about Aaron Rodgers, you don't need to panic about Josh Allen. You can chill out on that, okay, guys? So give you a little look-see at my team right here. I did get CMC because I did draft from the 101. I was able to get Gibson, and this is a mistake that was made because I didn't think past the end of my nose on this one. Marquise Callaway, I took the preseason hype. I took that preseason glowing performance that he had and translated it into a loss. Because if I had benched him and put in Mike Williams like I should have, that would have happened. See, guys, it's not just you that messes up, and it's not just you that second guesses. It's me too. I'm not perfect either, okay? So, and I also had, I was going up also against Tyreek Hill, who just had an absolute monster day. Higbee, he did about what I thought he would. Ridley kind of disappointed a little bit too. We'll get into a little bit of that in just a second. Jerry Judy, I did lose to a high ankle sprain, and we are going to talk a little bit on Thursday about the injuries. We're waiting for all of the news to come out. It hasn't come out yet, but Jerry Judy is one of those players, along with Raheem Mostert, who are going to be out for extended periods of time. I personally, I would say go ahead and drop Raheem Mostert because you're really not going to get a whole lot of value. And here's the thing. If you drop Raheem Mostert and there's somebody in your league that picks him up, don't worry about it. All they're going to do is clog up a roster spot and confuse themselves. This is the thing I want you guys to understand, is that you want to streamline your lineup, okay? Don't have guys on your roster just to have them on your roster to keep them away from everyone else, okay? If you have who you want, great. Don't confuse yourself and don't clog up your roster with unnecessary players, okay? That is definitely a recipe for disaster. So on my bench, Trey Lance, Latavius Murray, who is currently at 23 yards on 8 carries and a touchdown. So very promising. I picked him up late after the Gus Edwards news. And actually, when I heard Gus Edwards went down, I picked him up before he was even signed by Baltimore. When if you see the little BAL representing the team that he's on, Baltimore, it still said NO for New Orleans Saints. So I made a really early waiver claim on him and was able to land him before anybody else got into it. And that is the awesome thing about Sleeper. I will tell you right now, all game day, I was getting updates from Sleeper and from ESPN, and Sleeper was always first. So guys at Sleeper, keep up the great work. I appreciate you guys so much. Damian Harris, if you take away the fumble, 23 carries with 100 yards, really good. You see a little bit of involvement there in the pass game with 2 for 3 or 17. Not too bad. Trey Sermon out, and we'll get a little more into that on Thursday's show, where we go into injuries and things like that. We see Michael Gallup is on IR. But I had, like I said, I had Mike Williams down here, went for 82 yards and a touchdown on 12 targets, 8 receptions. So if I had had him in there, I would have won. So would have been a much better episode for me there. But we can go, let's see. Believe. Here we go. Here is my listener league. And as you see here, 191. I'm going to click on here and I'll show you guys. I was drafting from the 5th spot on this one. Wound up with, and there's a little different scoring on this one. We get a lot of bonuses in this league. This is on Yahoo. But I had AB, Najee, Gibson, Higbee, Debo. Debo just played out of his mind. Of course, Mahomes. Look, halfway through the game, and this is the great thing about fantasy football, is that halfway through the game, Mahomes looked like a bad choice to put in over anyone. As a matter of fact, in another league that I'm in, I actually had Tom Brady over Patrick Mahomes, and I was feeling really, really good about it. And then I saw the stats at the end of the game, and I was like, it didn't matter. I still won, but it was just, it was a little hurtful. Blankenship, I'm playing this one with a kicker. If you'll notice in my league of record, we do not play with the kicker. So let's review little scores down here for our league of record real quick. Team Jacobs, which is my son's team, one of my son's teams. Team Claw is also my son, and then my wife is the 2-time returning champ. He broke out to a real early lead because he had Dak Prescott and Amari Cooper, and he was able to hold on against Poncho's Heroes for the win. And we see a really tight race right here. This game is not over as of yet. He's still got a minute 34 for Josh Jacobs, 2 touchdowns, 38 yards. And this isn't bad for somebody who wound up on the on a late injury list because of an illness, undisclosed illness, non-COVID related from what we're being told. So if Jacobs can manage, maybe, another touchdown or something, we don't know. But 24-24, looks like it might go into overtime. So we'll keep an eye on this at the end of the show, and we'll check back in, see how my boy D Money, Big Dan, is doing against Mr. Protein. That would be Mr. Nick's team. So we'll see how that's going. So back to the list, guys. Quarterbacks that absolutely just went bananas. 2 of them come to mind. Jalen Hurts is going to be everyone's "I told you so." And yes, I'm wearing my Skins jersey, even though we lost. I'm a true fan, guys. What can I say? But yeah, Jalen Hurts, look, it was Atlanta. Come on, guys. Everybody does good against Atlanta, and if you don't, then it must be the Jags. I don't know, or Houston. I don't know. But look, it was Jalen Hurts' first time out as the starting quarterback in the regular season, in this new season. He had a couple of games last year to get his legs up underneath of him. Look, I'm not going to jump up on the table and go, "Oh my gosh, look at Jalen Hurts." Look, he is what he is, and it was Atlanta. Let's see what happens next week. If you started him, great. If you didn't, don't worry about it. It's okay. All right, you got time. But even mediocre players are supposed to do well against really bottom-feeding defenses. And that's one of the things we're going to be looking at on Thursday's matchup is defenses to target, okay? The next one, Dak Prescott. Look, Dak did phenomenal. Don't tell Mr. Chris that I said this. Shh, just keep it between us, okay? Chris is my boy at work, and he is a diehard Dallas fan. But yeah, Dak did absolutely amazing. However, this is an unsustainable pace, and it's not good for Dak. Look, he had 58 attempts. 58 times this man's got to drop back to pass the ball. You better get a running game in here, okay? Here's the thing. With 58 pass attempts, because your defense can't hold anybody for anything. I mean, you got a geriatric quarterback on the other side tearing you up, forcing your franchise quarterback to drop back 58 times. That's ridiculous. I don't care how good he is. I don't care how much you want to put weight on him. He cannot sustain this, okay? If the running game does not come to fruition, this is going to spell disaster for the Cowboys again, okay? Yes, it's great for fantasy. It is awesome to have CD and Amari and, whoever else he decides to throw to. It's awesome to have those numbers, but you cannot depend on that. If you can't depend on it, what happens when you get later in the season and these guys are just tired? His arm is fatigued and your run game is non-existent. Speaking of the run game, let's go into Zeke, who was one of the most disappointing running backs in the league this week. Look, he faced the Bucs, guys. He's not going to face the Bucs every week. They had to keep him back because Dak had to drop back 58 times to pass. They needed another blocker. That's what they used Zeke for. He was a really expensive lineman. That's pretty much all they used him for this week. Now, does that continue to happen? I don't know. Now, what I can tell you is I'll tell you the same thing that I've told guys last year who had Zeke. My boy Big D Money can attest to this. And what I've told my son Colt, who has Zeke this year. Wait until Zeke has an absolute ball-out game against some no-name defense or even a mediocre defense. If he just goes off and goes nuts, look to trade him. And don't accept anything less than a 2-for-1 or like-minded value, okay? If you get an offer or if you want to make an offer, hit me up down below. Let me know what it is, and I'll give you some advice about what to do. Okay, guys? If you got any questions, I'm always here. Find me on Twitter at Faith, the letter N, football1, and I will be more than happy to answer your questions. And to my boy who reached out to me on YouTube, I appreciate you greatly, and I'm sorry for the Sanders advice there. Who knew? My boy asked me if I would start Mostert or Sanders. I was like, hey, look who Mostert's facing. You better do it before he gets his job taken. Sorry, I didn't know week 1 injury bug was going to bite him this early. My bad. Anyway, Najee Harris, and look, I got Najee in one league, and he's a rookie. Okay, he's gonna have growing pains. Hold up, I know you paid a lot to get him. I know you paid up second round, value to get this guy. It's all right. It's okay. Najee's gonna be fine. Chill out. They were playing Buffalo. Buffalo's no slouch defense. Okay. Relax, chill out. It's going to be all right. Okay, guys. Melvin Gordon, 11 carries, 111 yards. Y'all, this is nuts. You want to talk about hyper efficient? 11 carries for 111 yards? You're talking 11.1, and I don't have to stress on the math on this one. It's really simple. If you had 11 carries, you had 111 yards. That is 11.1 yards per carry. This guy's getting a first down every time he touched the ball. That's ridiculous. So what happened? Why did he do this? How was this possible? One, you got Teddy Bridgewater. You have to respect the pass. Number two, and the most important thing, he was playing the Giants. Look, the Giants are going to be on a short week against my boys from Washington. So if you have Antonio Gibson, and this is an early throttle up tip for you. If you've got Gibson, you better start him. That's all I got to say. Look out, because Gibson's just going to go off the chain. At least that's what I'm looking forward to. So, next guy, Aaron Jones. Guys, 5 yards, 9 carries. Really, really bad. And I know I told you guys I was going to give you 2 and 2. I'm giving you 3 and 1 on this one because Melvin Gordon was just that hyper efficient. Okay. Real quick though, I was absolutely shocked to be able to give you 2. I'm going to use Aaron Jones as a bonus. I'm going to give you a backup and give you a bonus QB here in just a second too. Aaron Jones is a bonus running back. Here's the thing. Green Bay is without their starting left tackle. Okay. Nobody thought going in it was going to be that big of a deal, but apparently it is. So yeah, give the left tackle a little time to get acclimated, to get up to speed. It'll be all right. Okay. But watch out for the pattern, because next week they've got Detroit. They should roll Detroit. Okay. So I will say that Jamal Williams, former Green Bay Packer and current Detroit running back, look, we know that that Green Bay is not a good run defense. Next week's going to be fun. So if you got Jamal Williams, watch for DeAndre Swift. He had a little injury bug right there, but keep an eye out on those injury reports coming out on Friday and Saturday. Make your adjustments, and please stay up to date. Remember, you need to be plugged into more than just one injury report. You need to be following people on Twitter. You need to be Sheffield. I'm having a brain fart. ESPN has her all the time. Stephania Bell. There it is. Follow Stephania Bell. Follow me. I'm there too. Thursday we'll be going through all the injuries, and we will dive into those in depth a little bit more. Okay, guys. The bonus QB I will give you, Jameis Winston. Look, 5 touchdowns was awesome. 148 yards. Pump your brakes on Jameis, guys. This ain't the Bucks. And if he starts throwing interceptions like he did in Tampa, look for Taysom Hill to be walking through those doors real quick. Because this ain't Bruce Arians. Sean Payton is not a no risk it, no biscuit type coach. You start making mistakes, you're going to be riding the bench. So, wide receiver, look, we know Devontae Adams is on this list. 5 of 7, and I'm saying this for a simple fact that there are 2 other wide receivers with less talent and worse quarterbacks that had the exact same stats, but drastically different results. Brandon Ayuk, look, sit him and watch out. Okay, just sit him down. I'm telling you right now, Brandon Ayuk, sit him down. As long as Debo is healthy, Debo is the man. Okay, without a doubt, Debo Samuel is the man in San Fran. Don't even think about it. Sit Brandon Ayuk until somebody gets hurt. It's San Fran. Give it time. It's going to happen. Okay. But yeah, Devontae Adams, look, 5 of 7 targets for 56 yards. Was this just a hiccup? We're going to, like I keep saying about Green Bay, we're going to see next week against Detroit. Okay. But I bring up his stat line to say this, and you guys know that I'm not big on stats, but when I saw this, I had to bring it up to your attention. Corey Davis with the Jets and a rookie quarterback was 5 of 7 for 97 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, here's the thing about Corey Davis. We've seen this before. We've seen where he's been hyper efficient, where he's gotten in, and I just got to update. We are in overtime for the Monday night game. So my boy D Money might have a shot, and we'll see what's going on in just a second. So, but yeah, Corey Davis, we've seen this before when he was with the Titans. We saw him get used all over the place, and then the next game he disappeared. So if you started Corey Davis, if you were lucky enough to have him in your lineup, congratulations, you caught lightning in a bottle. Awesome. But I don't know if you can rely on this every single week, week in and week out. Look at his matchups. Look and see who he's playing. Look and see who he's playing against, and keep an eye out. Okay. If you've got a couple of stronger wide receivers, great. You've got a good core. Okay. The next guy, Brandon Cooks. Again, another 5 for 7 guy, 5 receptions on 7 targets, 132 yards. Now, here's the thing. It's against the Jags. They were horrible. Their defense is horrible. You've got Houston, the Jets, and the Jags. The Jets have just lost a couple of guys, and I know I keep saying about the injuries. We're going to go over them Thursday, but I do bring them up. They lost a linebacker. I believe they lost a defensive tackle. But I'm telling you right now, those 3 defenses, I would target left, right, and center. If you are matched up, if your players are matched up against them, put them in. If there's any question between them and another player, put in the matchup's the only thing holding you back, put him in. Plus, he's the only option. I hate to say it, but he is. Now, I am going to give you guys one tight end for each side of this. Gronk. What can I say about Gronk? Absolutely phenomenal. Look, him and you know the history with him and Brady. I don't have to tell you guys this. I don't have to go into detail about it. But it was against the Cowboys D. Okay. There's still O.J. Howard. There's still Cameron Brate. Those guys still exist. They're still on the roster. So this could be a thing of, look, Gronk's a little older. They're going to take care of him if he's out there, and it's great in the beginning of the season. But is he going to die off? Keep an eye on him. If you start to see a little decline, find somebody in your league that's hurting at tight end. Maybe you got a trade partner. Okay. The next guy that a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I spent this high of a draft pick on him, and this is what happens. Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts was the Pitts for this week, but he's a rookie. Okay. It's a new system for everybody. They got Arthur Smith coming over from Tennessee as a new head coach, and it's just different, guys. Give it a minute. He's a talented kid. It's going to happen, okay? So I hope you guys got something out of that. I hope I kind of calmed you down a little bit. That is what Take a Step Back Tuesday is for. It's to see if, or let you know that your concerns are valid, but your expectations need to be tempered a little bit sometimes, okay? And sometimes all you need is a voice of reason, and it's scary that I'm that, but that's what I'm trying to be. So until Throttle Up Thursday rolls around, let's take before we sign off, we're going to take a look real quick, and I do want to thank my sponsor, Zia of Lafayette. Body Armor. If you're not a sponsor, I would love for you guys to reach out. Okay. I love your stuff. My kid goes wild for your strawberry banana. That's what I'm drinking now. So, oh, and the blackout berry is phenomenal. If you guys haven't gotten that, get you some. The Body Armor is no joke. I know you see all these ads on during the football games, but this stuff's off the chain. But like I said, don't want to forget my sponsor, Zia of Lafayette and Keller's Bakery in Youngsville. Look, if you are in the Lafayette, Louisiana area, go down to Keller's Bakery. You can find them at 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. You can find them on Facebook, and they take orders through there. You can also just stop by and see them, 627 Lafayette Street off the Youngsville Highway. If you mention that Faith in Football sent you, you get your 2 free mini cupcakes. Look, what's better than free dessert? Nothing. Well, maybe free money. But aside from that, free dessert is awesome. Okay. Their cupcakes are delicious. If you're down there, get you a box of donuts, try you some pies. They're absolutely off the chain. Go down there and you tell them Faith and Neil from Faith and Football sent you. You get your 2 free mini cupcakes. Please don't forget to mention the show. Also, go visit Zia of Lafayette off of Doucet Road in Lafayette, Louisiana. You can find them in front of Red Laurel's Health Club on Doucet Road and behind the Grand Theater off of Johnson Street. Okay, look, I know going out it can be sketchy for some people, but look, they're taking all the precautions that are necessary to take. It's a very safe environment to go eat at. The grits are off the chain. If I could walk around with some in my pocket, I wouldn't have to pay for half the stuff in the town. They are that good. Don't believe me? Go down and check them out. Say hi to Heath and Leonard and Tucker, all the guys down there. Tell them that Neil from Faith and Football sent you, and maybe I'll be there as well. So real quick before we sign off, let's check and see what we're doing here. Let's hit refresh on this real quick. And we're still at 187. Ooh, did he have a fumble? 7 minutes left. No, he did not. 10 carries for 34 yards. Not really that good, but he did get the 2 touchdowns. So at least he's getting some goal line work, which is always good to see from your running back. We've got 7:10 left in the game. So they are in the red zone. Let's check this out real quick, guys. Oh, they got a timeout. Oh, and they took a touchdown away from the Raiders. Can the Raiders pull out the victory here? Let's see. We got a timeout going on right now. Let's see what's happening here. Don't worry, guys. We ain't got that much time left. Oh, they got a false start. That backs them up. That sucks. Whoever Leatherwood is, I'd be taking the leather and the wood to his butt. false start to 5, backs him up to the 6. So let's see what the next play is. And guys, I'm really rooting for my boy D Money just because I really want Nick just to calm down a little bit. He was way too cocky after Thursday's game. Incomplete pass. They're sitting at 3rd and 6. Let's see what happened. Now, me personally, if I was the coach, I will tell you guys right now that I would have run the ball even after the 5-yard penalty just to get some yardage back and get myself a little closer. You got Darren Waller. I don't know what you're doing trying to throw to anybody but him. For my boy D Money's sake, I hope they do like a little screen pass or something. Let's see what happens. This is me live watching play-by-play, guys. If you've tuned out by now. Intercept. Oh, man. All right. D-Money, what can I say, bro? We got to wait a little while longer. We'll keep tuned. I will let you guys know on Twitter what happened with my boy D-Money and this game, and we'll review a little bit on Thursday's episode. But look, I appreciate you guys tuning in for Take a Step Back Tuesday. It's going to be a weekly event here. We're going to go over the disappointments and the overachievers, if you will, of the week. And then throttle up Thursday. We're going to hit starts and sits, defenses to target, and we'll go over all the injuries. Guys, till next time, my name's Neil. You've been watching Faith in Football. God bless. Stay safe, and we'll see you guys next time.